In the bottom left-hand corner, we have common resources, goods that are rival in consumption, but are not excludable or are difficult to exclude people from using. A lot of environmental goods end up in this category. Fish that are still in the ocean, say, or the environment more generally. These are things that it's difficult to stop people from using. They're non-excludable, but other people's use of them can harm our ability to be able to use them. So ocean resources like fish or clams or oysters or lobsters, these are things that can get used up, that if too many people use them, then their ability to replenish fails, and we can end up losing that resource. In that sense, our use of them is rival. Not everybody can use that and expect for the resource to still be around. And the problem, though, with common resources is this excludability. That because we can't stop people, or because in many situations we have a hard time stopping people from fishing or catching oysters or catching lobsters or whatever, that can lead to problems in maintaining that resource for everyone. A road that's got lots of people on it but doesn't have a way of excluding people from it would also be one of these common resources, or sometimes we call them common pool resources. In the top right cell, we have club goods, sometimes called natural monopoly goods. These are goods where our use of them doesn't diminish other people's ability to use them. They're not rival, but we can stop other people from using them. They're excludable. So cable TV or other or streaming TV services, these are examples of club goods. If one more person uses cable TV or one more person uses Netflix, that doesn't diminish other people's ability to use it, so those things are non-rival, but they are excludable. We can stop people from using Netflix, stop people from viewing cable TV if we choose to. Fire protection's a bit of a weird one here. You might think that that doesn't belong in the club goods section, but there have been some recent stories where because of the potential for excludability in fire protection, this has led to some problems. So there have been some towns that have experimented with you having to sign up to be protected by their fire service. And the reason for that is if you're a really small town, it might be too expensive for you to run a fire station. And so instead, some of these small towns have gotten rid of their fire stations and asked the towns nearby to offer to provide fire protection service to the residents of the towns that have lost their fire service. The way in which this has tended to happen is it's happened on a voluntary basis. If you decide you want fire protection, then you pay $50 or $100 or whatever to the nearby town, and so you end up getting protected. But a lot of people will choose not to buy that protection. Well, you can imagine the problem now, right? Somebody's house catches on fire and they haven't paid this fee. If they haven't paid this fee, then the fire truck shows up to their house, they look them up as they're on the way to the house, and they say, oh, well, you haven't paid your $100 fee, we're not going to put out your fire. This is a really bad situation, right? Not just for the homeowner whose house is burning down, but also for the firefighters, right? They've got out to this house and their entire job is putting out fires, and their higher-ups are telling them, no, you're not allowed to put out this person's fire. They haven't paid their fee. And they can't just pay it on the spot, because if they did that, everyone would want to do that. Everyone would just say, well, I'll pay for the fire truck when it comes. But this is a form of insurance, right? And you've got to pay for it before you need it. Having fire protection be something that is excludable is not particularly desirable here. Now, if we're thinking about these goods generally, the goods that are excludable are typically ones that private markets are going to do okay with. Private goods, we do fine with. Club goods, we actually do okay with as well. because the non-rivalry affects how much of the good should be provided, but doesn't prevent the good from being provided effectively to at least the people who are willing to pay for it. It's these goods down the bottom, the ones that are non-excludable, common resources and public goods, that are the ones that are very, very difficult for markets to provide. So those are the ones that we're going to concentrate on in this lecture.